Good morning, Matt Dela Cruz here with the Winning Minds Group, part of the John Maxwell team. Welcome to Mondays with Matt. Happy Monday to you. Hope you had a great weekend, and hope you're looking for an extraordinary week this week, only because you can, by choice. So I want to start today off on a good note, and I want to talk to you about old expressions and maybe cliches or your limited beliefs that you have based on what's been programmed in your mind, and give you a different look at it today, because some of us are still living like that. Maybe you've heard a couple of them. What you don't know can't hurt you. Actually, what you don't know can kill you. How many agree with me on that? Ignorance is bliss. Actually, it's not bliss. Knowledge is power. Actually, knowledge is power is properly applied. And how about this one? Practice makes perfect. Actually, it's perfect practice makes perfect. So I bring this up to you because I just finished graduating a group of leaders through this mastermind group that we just concluded for a client of mine in the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. And one of the guys was getting up and telling his journey. At the end of the 10-week course, everyone goes through and they give their 10-week journey of what they've learned, what they've gathered, and how they're going to implement it into their lives. And one of the guys had stood up and said, before I started this program, this class, I was a skeptic, and most people are. Anytime you go from comfort zone to danger zones where you're uncomfortable, right, the unknown, you put up the defensive barrier, and that's what most people do, especially in my line of business when we go in to try to help and teach and up-level and grow people. And you have to grow on purpose, and you have to want to grow. But anyway, he said that he was a skeptic, and he was, no doubt about it. But he said as he got into it, he started gathering more and more and more. Here's why. Because he started opening up his mind more and more and more. He opened up his heart more and more and more. And that's what happens. And then he started growing to a higher level. And the one old expression that he said, and this is why I'm talking about it this week, he said that you can't teach an old dog new tricks, which people still believe today, believe it or not. I go to these companies and people say, well, Matt, we've got seasoned staff, we got veterans, we have people that have been here for 40 years. That you can't teach them anything new. They don't want to learn. And the sad thing about it is, why keep them then if they don't want to learn? See, on the positive side, this is what I was taught. And it wasn't by my father. It wasn't by the negative influences that were in my life. I'm talking about my early 20s, my late teens, where, again, Zig Ziglar, I'll never forget when he said that. He goes, Matt, in order to learn and to grow, that you got to read a book more than once. He says you got to read it, you got to hear it, you got to write it, and you got to say it 6 times to get 62% retention. He said also that if you read a book and if you study and you go through it once, you're not going to really comprehend it. It's really repetition. And then he said repetition is the mother of learning, that makes it the father of action and the architect of accomplishment. See, that stuff sticks with me. And then as I close out every seminar, I always say that the enemy of learning is knowing. Once you think you know it all, that's as far as you ever get. Your growth lid stops. And that the more you know you need to know. See, those are the positive expressions. Those are the positive cliches that I believe that we got to pour into our kids, pour into the people, our subordinates, our peers, everyone that you can. Talk about the positive side of it. Because you can make an impact on other people. And when you make an impact on other people, believe it or not, everything you say you do does matter. So until next week, live with passion, live intentionally, and let's live on purpose this week. Make it a great week. We'll talk to you next week.